There are several thousand of us on your land. Vladimirovka Military Training Ground, 1993. Lieutenant General Alexei Savin stood by his armored jeep looking into the night sky. Dark clouds stretched above the horizon, and somewhere in the distance could be heard the rumble of engines of military equipment. Here, in the most classified part of Russia, they were trying to do what no one had ever managed to do before: make contact. Signals were sent, frequencies were tuned, equipment was ready. All that remained was to wait. And this waiting ended exactly at 2:47 a.m. A shadow hovered over the range, a huge object resembling a black triangular slab. It did not make any noise, did not make a sound, but the air felt tense, as before a thunderstorm. Communication with the base was cut off. "Minus, Mr. General, it's something alive," whispered one of the operators. Suddenly a silhouette emerged from the darkness, 100 meters away from Savin. A tall figure moving smoothly like water, surrounded by a faint bluish glow. General Savin. The voice was not a voice in the usual sense. It sounded in the heads of everyone present at once. People froze, unable to move. "We have been watching you for a long time. You are looking for us, but you do not realize that we are already here. There are several thousand of us on your land." Savin clenched his fist to remove the trembling. "Who are you? What do you want?" The creature took a step forward. It was clearly visible now. Smooth skin like black obsidian, fixed, bottomless eyes. "We are those who have always been in the shadows of your history. You call us by many names: Anunnaki, Arcturians, Shadows. But we are just us." Around the creatures, space began to change, as if the air was becoming denser, solidifying. The soldiers began to gasp, many collapsing to their knees. "You were wrong. You were not the first to make contact. Your ancestors have made deals with us before, but now it's time for a new choice." Savin tried to say something, but in that instant, everything changed. Time stood still. For a few seconds, the general seemed to fall into the void. No sound, no air, only absolute darkness. And then he woke up in the same place. The shadows had disappeared. Only a faint trace on the ground, like the imprint of a giant palm, reminded him of what had happened. The soldiers came to their senses, not realizing how much time had passed. And in the sky, far beyond the horizon, a black triangle shimmered beyond human comprehension. 3 days had passed since the contact. Lieutenant General Alexei Savin could not get rid of the feeling that something had changed. The world around seemed to be the same, but there was something alien, barely perceptible in the air. The incident files were classified. Witnesses were questioned and forced to sign non-disclosure documents. However, Savin knew, this is not the end. On the night of the 3rd to 4th day, something terrible happened. 0315, Vladimirovka training range. Officers on duty noticed movement in one of the ammunition depots. Surveillance cameras recorded how a bright blue glow flashed inside the room and then suddenly went out. The rapid response team went to check the situation. 7 minutes later, they got on the line. Subject found. Sergeant Klimov's voice sounded muffled and strained. "What is the object?" "Double asterisk," asked the duty officer on duty at the headquarters. There were a few seconds of silence. Then Klimov uttered, "It's looking at us." The dispatcher frowned. "Looking at what? Who?" Klimov's voice suddenly changed, became low, vibrating, as if thousands of voices were speaking simultaneously. "You called us, General Savin. Now we are here." The connection broke. 0329, Command Center Bunker. Savin ran into the control room. The monitors were showing footage from the warehouse cameras. There stood something. It looked human, but only remotely so. Its skin shimmered with a black sheen, like the ones they had seen 3 days ago. However, it was not just one creature. There were 7 such figures on the screen. All of them stood motionless. Only their eyes, fathomless, devoid of emotion, were staring directly into the camera lens. Savin felt a chill run down his spine. They weren't just watching, they were waiting. and then one of them smiled. That smile was unnatural, not meant for a human face. It was as if the alien entity was only imitating humans. After a second, the camera faded out. A few minutes later, a strange, distorted signal sounded on the military base's central radio frequency, and in the middle of it, a voice. "General Savin, you opened the door." Then came calm laughter. Low, inhuman,